Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
Have you ever looked back on a friendship and realized you were the only one who truly showed up? You called when things got hard. You listened. You held their stories with care, even the ones they were ashamed of. You celebrated their wins as if they were your own. And then, when your world fell apart, when you needed someone to sit with you in the dark, they were gone. Not gone in an obvious way. They didn't disappear overnight. They just quietly stopped showing up. The calls got shorter. The excuses got more creative. And somehow, every conversation slowly became about them again. And the worst part, you kept wondering what you did wrong. Here is the truth nobody tells women like us. Some people are not friends. They are visitors wearing the costume of friendship. And recognizing the difference before you give them another decade of your heart. That is one of the most important things you will ever do for yourself. Today, we are going to talk about how to see them clearly, not with bitterness, not with regret, but with the wisdom that can only come from a woman who has lived, loved, and learned. If you are watching this, chances are you are not a young woman figuring out who her people are for the first time. You have already done that, or tried to. You have had friendships that felt like family. You have sat across the table from someone who knew your history, your humor, your heartbreaks. And you have also sat in the silence of a betrayal you never saw coming. At this stage of life, 55, 60, 65, and beyond, friendship is not a small thing. It is a lifeline. Research from Harvard actually tells us that strong social connections are one of the most powerful predictors of how well we age, more powerful in many cases than diet or exercise. So when a friendship turns out to be hollow, when someone you trusted with your inner world turns out to have been taking more than they ever gave, it does not just sting. It can genuinely break something in you. And I want to acknowledge that before we go any further, if you have been hurt by a fake friend, someone who used your kindness, who disappeared when you needed them, who smiled to your face and quietly talked behind your back, that pain is real. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining it. And you are not to blame for being loyal to someone who was not loyal to you. But here is what I also know about you are still here. You are still willing to understand. And that tells me everything about the kind of woman you are. Now let's talk about the signs, and more importantly, the psychology behind why fake friends behave the way they do. Because when you understand the why, the confusion starts to dissolve. And in that clarity, you find your power back. There is a simple but painful test that real friendship always passes the test of hard times. Think about the last time things went genuinely wrong in your life. A health scare, a loss, a family crisis. A moment when you felt like the ground had shifted under you. Who called? Who came? Who sat with you without needing to fix anything or make it about themselves? Now think about the people who seemed to vanish during that time, who suddenly got very busy, who sent a quick text and disappeared, who, when you needed a real conversation, gave you a thumbs up emoji in silence. Here is the psychology behind this. Psychologists call it situational friendship. Some people connect with us not because they genuinely care about who we are, but because we make them feel good. We are fun at the party. We are reliable for advice. We are the ones they call when THY needs something. But emotional vulnerability, yours, not theirs, makes them deeply uncomfortable. Why? Because it requires something they are not equipped to give: empathy without reward. Think of it like a garden. A real friend waters you even when there are no flowers blooming. A fake friend only comes around when it looks beautiful, when they can take a photo for themselves. A woman I'll call Margaret told me about a friend she had known for 15 years. They had holidays together, shared every milestone. When Margaret was diagnosed with breast cancer, her friend called once, sent flowers, and then went quiet for 6 months. When Margaret recovered, the friend reappeared, full of stories about HR's own stressful year. Margaret told me, I finally understood. She was my friend in the good times because the good times served her. My illness made her face something she wasn't willing to face. Real friendship shows up in the rain. If someone only knows you in the sunshine, that is not friendship. That is a fair weather arrangement, and you deserve more than that. You share something painful. By the end of the conversation, they are talking about their own struggles. You celebrate good news. Within minutes, they have upped it with something better happening in their life. You ask for advice. They spend 3 minutes on your problem and 25 on something they are dealing with. This is not always intentional. Some people are genuinely wired this way, not out of malice, but out of a deep emotional need to be seen and centered. Psychologists call this conversational narcissism, and it is more common than you might think. But here is what matters regardless of the reason. The effect on you is the same. You leave every conversation feeling emptier than when you arrived. Like you showed up to share a meal, and somehow ended up serving all the food. This is called an emotionally one-sided relationship. And it is one of the most draining dynamics a woman can find herself in. Especially because it happens so gradually you barely notice it. You start editing yourself. You stop sharing the full story because you know it will get redirected. You carry your feelings alone because you have learned, quietly, painfully, that this person is not really listening. Think about this. When was the last time this person asked you a real question, not a surface question, but a question that showed they had been thinking about how you are life when you weren't in the room? Real friends think about you when you are not there. If someone always brings the conversation back to themselves, pay attention. It does not make them evil. But it does tell you something important. They are not there for you. They are there for themselves. And you happen to be a convenient audience. This one is subtle. This is the one that hides behind sweetness. Notice how some people in your life are incredibly warm and attentive when you are going through something hard. When you are confused. When you are doubting yourself, when your confidence is low. They love to be your support system in those moments. But then notice what happens when something wonderful happens for you. When you get good news. When you finally step into your power. When you are glowing. Do they go quiet? Do they minimize it? Do they find a way to poke a hole in your joy? Just a small one. Nothing that looks mean on the surface, but enough to let the air out? Psychologists have a word for this. Tall poppy syndrome. And there is a deeper dynamic underneath it called threatened envy. When a friend cannot genuinely celebrate your success, it is almost always because your success triggers something painful inside them. A sense of inadequacy, a fear of being left behind, a comparison they cannot stop making between your life and theirs. And so unconsciously, they try to keep you small. Not because they hate you, but because your smallness makes them feel safe. I think of a vine that wraps around a strong tree. From a distance, it looks like connection. But the vine does not want the tree to grow. It needs the tree to stay exactly where it is, so it has something to hold on to. A real friend roots for your growth even when it means you might outgrow certain things, including, eventually, them. That is the sign of genuine love. It wants what is best for you, even at cost to itself. Watch how someone responds when you shine. You will learn everything you need to know. Intimacy in friendship is built on one thing, the belief that what you share will be held with care. When you tell a friend something vulnerable, a fear, a regret, a private family matter, you are handing them something sacred. You are saying, I trust you with a piece of me that I do not show the world. A fake friend takes that sacred thing and uses it. Maybe not immediately, maybe not loudly, but in quiet ways it surfaces. They mention something you told them in confidence, almost accidentally. They share just a little bit too much with someone else. They use what they know about your tender spots to win an argument or establish dominance. There is a psychological concept called intimacy currency. In healthy friendships, vulnerability is exchanged mutually and treated with respect. In unhealthy ones, it becomes a kind of leverage. The thing about this is, it takes time to see. You will not always notice it immediately. But there are small signs early on. Does this person share other people's secrets with you? Do they talk about mutual friends in ways that feel slightly off? A little too detailed, a little too cutting? Do they seem to enjoy having information a little too much? If someone gossips to you freely, they gossip about you freely. That is not cynicism. That is just paying attention. You do not have to share everything with everyone. You are allowed to be warm, kind, present, and still discerning about what you offer and to whom. Discretion is not coldness, it is wisdom. This is perhaps the most honest signal of all, and it lives in your body, not your mind. After spending time with a real friend, someone who genuinely loves you, you feel lighter. Even if the conversation was heavy, there is a sense of having been held, of mattering, of being known. After spending time with a fake friend, you often feel drained. There is a particular kind of tiredness that is hard to name. You might feel vaguely irritable, vaguely sad, like you have just given something away and received nothing in return. Psychologists call this emotional labor drain. And women, especially women who were raised to be givers, to be selfless, to see their own needs as less important, are especially vulnerable to it. Because we have been taught that exhaustion in relationships is normal. That giving more than we receive is just what love looks like. That if we feel empty after being with someone, the problem must be us. It is not us. Your nervous system is one of the wisest things about you. It knows. It registers. It sends you signals that your mind is sometimes too polite, too hopeful, too loyal to acknowledge. Imagine a phone that is constantly running apps in the background. Apps you didn't open, that you don't use, that are quietly draining the battery. Some relationships work exactly like that. You don't always see them doing it, but you feel it. You are always low on charge. Begin to notice, truly notice, how you feel after you spend time with the people in your life. Not during, when social performance kicks in, after, when you are alone and the mask is down. That feeling is data. Treat it like data. Here is what I want you to hear, clearly and without any softening. Recognizing a fake friend is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is not about building walls. It is not about giving up on people. It is about becoming honest enough with yourself to stop giving real love to people who are only offering imitation. You have spent your life learning to read people. You have made mistakes, yes, we all have. You have trusted too quickly, held on too long, forgiven too easily. But you have also learned, and that learning is not wasted. It is wisdom in progress. At this stage of your life, you do not have unlimited time or unlimited energy. What you have is irreplaceable, and you get to choose, consciously, deliberately, lovingly, who you spend it on. Letting go of a fake friend does not mean you are giving up. It means you are making room. Room for the kind of friendship that actually fills you up. The kind where you can sit in silence and feel completely at home. The kind where the other person calls just to check on you. The kind where loyalty does not need to be earned every single time. Those friendships exist. They are rarer than we wish, but they are real. And they are worth protecting by releasing what is not serving you. You are not too old to build something beautiful. You are just old enough to build it right. The Brené Brown research is clear on this. Belonging, real belonging, requires vulnerability. But vulnerability without discernment is not courage. It is a wound waiting to happen. Be discerning. Be wise. Be open to real love. And be willing to close the door on anything that only pretends to be. You have worked too hard, survived too much, and grown too beautifully to keep spending yourself on people who will not even notice when you are gone. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Think about one relationship in your life that has been draining you. One person who has been taking more than they give. One dynamic where you have been showing up fully and they have been showing up halfway. You do not have to announce anything. You do not have to make a dramatic decision today, but I want you to acknowledge it to yourself quietly and honestly. And then I want you to do one thing: drop the words "I am reclaiming my peace" in the comments below, not as a performance, as a promise to yourself that you will stop spending your precious energy on people who do not deserve it, that you will make room for the ones who do. I read every single comment, and I believe that when one woman says that out loud, something shifts, not just for her, but for every woman who reads it and finally feels seen. I am reclaiming my peace. And if this video touched something real in you today, please share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. Because one of the greatest gifts we can give each other is the permission to put ourselves first. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.